I'm Jeff Bakalar. With me is Dr. Bill Mitchell, the CEO of PicoBrew. He's here to show us the new Pico, just the Pico, home brewing solution, smaller, faster, easier. Thanks for coming back.
All of those.
This is how you follow up virtual porn.
Oh, yeah.
You follow it up with DIY beer making. So tell us about the Pico.
Yeah, so this is finally getting to the big dream of putting the ability to make your own great craft beer in everyone's hands. Last year we talked about and we tasted some of the beer produced by our Zymatic machine. That machine is used by high-end homebrewers and craft brewers around the world now. But this Pico is all about making this process really simple. So we've worked with over 100 craft breweries, and they're producing their best recipes in the form of these Pico packs, these containers right here that are actually food-grade pulp. They contain all the grains, all the hops that they use in their commercial production. This machine will use their recipe profiles, their exact process, and produce 5 liters, which goes in one of these little mini kegs.
Fill up a mini keg,
Yep,
right on.
fill a mini keg. You can have it on your refrigerator shelf. All you have to do is load up this compartment with your Pico pack, load this with water, and hit go. Takes about 2 hours to brew, and the best thing of all is you can brew these great beers that you can only get at a craft brewery,
Right.
but you can also customize it.
Which is amazing. You were saying you could sort of like adjust some of the variables about the actual brew. So tell us what kind of control you can have over a batch.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things. I mean, we believe everyone, has that beer that you've tasted when you made a trip to San Francisco, you went
Right.
to 21st Amendment, had some of their great beer, then you go back to Seattle, you can't get that beer anymore.
Right.
But one step beyond is I can get that beer, I can share it with people, I can say, look at this great beer I just tasted. And then if you wanted to drink their IPA all day long, it might be a 7% alcohol IPA. You
Get
can
in a
actually,
little bit of trouble
yeah,
with
you
that,
can
maybe.
you can turn it into a 4% session beer,
Right.
or you can jack it up to a 9%
Not,
double.
9's gonna,
Yeah.
that'll knock you over a little
But you
bit.
can make your beer,
Right.
and you can stand on the shoulders of giants, the guys that actually build the best beers in the world, and you can do it in your own home.
So you kind of went through the process a little bit. So it's 2 hours, A to B, you're all set. I mean, this is a pretty significant improvement over what we saw with last year's machine. What kind of research and development has gone into that? This sounds like almost kind of like a miracle year over year. What's that about?
Oh yeah, it's been about an 18-month engineering process to build something that's half the size.
Right.
Right now we have a show special. This is $5.99. Our flagship original product was $2,000. So substantial price reduction, cost reduction, and using these Pico packs. So developing this food-grade pulp container, 100% food biodegradable. So you can actually you finish, you dump this in your food waste, you're done. Major strides in heating solutions. So this uses a steam injection heat.
Oh, wow.
We've worked with Flextronics on a custom fluid path and fluid distribution manifold. So we've just got a bunch of advances that we're able to get done in 18 months. We're going to ship it starting in April. We just had a super successful Kickstarter, raised $1.4 million in pre-orders.
Right on.
And you can taste the beer right here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to. All right.
Okay.
So what do we got? We have are these 3 different kinds right here? What
Well,
are-
I got 2 for you and 1 for me. How about that?
What are you trying to do to me right now?
I'm that kind of sharing guy.
All right. So let's try the one we both have. What is this?
This is a Mosaic IPA.
Okay.
It's made by a little brewery right down the street from us called Lucky Envelope.
All right.
They've only been open for less than a year. It's a very clear IPA. Uses one of my favorite hops, Mosaic.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's see what happens here.
See if you can follow up porn with this.
Yeah. Right. I think this is. I think born. Yeah. You know what I mean. Oh, that's nice.
So if you like Mosaic, this is a great beer. So the thing that's
Delicious.
really gratifying too is not only can we bring, fresh craft beer the way it was designed by the brewery to be tasted, exactly their flavor profiles. It's not stale, it's not in bottles or cans, but also the craft brewery gets a commission on every sale. So
Okay.
a new brewery like Lucky Envelope gets distribution worldwide from this.
So that's great. I mean, because normally, you really have a very closed sort of regional distribution situation. This is almost, in a way, kind of turning beer into being able to like travel over the internet in a weird way, because you have that access where you would have to ship. Shipping costs kind of over the moon when you talk about weight and stuff like that, but when it's in this sort of situation, you're dealing with a lot more practical.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. It turns out, amazingly enough, it's much easier to ship non-alcoholic beverages.
Yeah. Less of a holdup.
And
Yeah.
so you ship pulp packages of grain and hops. We can ship them worldwide, and gives you the opportunity, if you're in Taipei and you've always wanted to have that beer that's from Seattle, Lucky Envelope maybe,
Right.
you can order it, you
There
can
you
brew
go.
it, and it tastes just like it's supposed to taste from the brewery. And the brewery, you're helping out the little guy. We're
Right.
turning this into a beer meritocracy.
Right. Absolutely.
So, you don't have to have the best Super Bowl commercial to have the most drinkers.
Just the word of mouth.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And what is the other
This one
here?
is a Pilsner. This is a
Okay.
Pico Pils. It's one of our recipes. So we also have in-house brewers. We have Annie Johnson is our head brewer. She was the home brewer of the year in 2013, AHA
Okay.
home brewer of the year. So she's actually done a number of recipes.
And this is hers.
This is hers.
All right. Let's see.
And she likes lighter beers. She calls them lawnmower beers.
This goes down way too easily.
Yeah, we
Wait.
figured you might need something light. You got some hours ahead of you.
Yeah, I gotta pace myself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we also
Delicious.
do gluten-free beers. We can do beers with all sorts of interesting additions. The sky's the limit, and you get to do it without knowing anything about brewing.
Which is the best part. 2 hours, A to B, you're all set.
So that's the brewing process, and then you do ferment, but
Right.
we've made advances on the fermentation as well. So you ferment in one of these kegs. Typical fermentation for even a commercial brewery is going to take you about 7 days, depends
Okay.
on the beer.
Sure.
With our fast fermentation, we can ferment in as little as 2 days.
How's that accelerated? How does that work?
So again, we kind of think of this as modernist beer. So we're
Okay.
really focused on taking the best of classic beer production and beer technology and trying to sort of limit the stuff that's really kind of ancillary and focus on the key chemical reactions. So what you're really after here is fast action with the yeast, a very fast fermentation, so you can raise the temperature,
Right.
but then you tend to get off flavors and phenols and things like that. So we actually do it under pressure. We have a pressure device here, allows you to raise the temperature of the fermentation. Fermentation completes much more quickly. It's a very active fermentation, and you don't have any off flavors.
Very cool. You're using your powers for good, Doctor. Appreciate that.
Technology and beer.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this is going to start at what price?
So $5.99 show special.
Okay.
It'll be $6.99 after the show. It includes the Pico, these 2 kegs, so a brewing keg and a drinking keg, and also your first Pico pack.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Doctor.